You're welcome back to the show. This is GHToday. I am Sewami. It's time for the breakfast review, but on Fridays I like to call it a weekend review because we look at quite a number of things. And I'm joined here by Nana Kwesi Boate Esquire. He's a private legal practitioner. Nana Kwesi, good morning.
Good morning,
And
sir.
my boss, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, he's deputy news editor for EIB Network. Look, Ibrahim is such a big man. He's a deputy news editor for EIB. He's our parliamentary correspondent for EIB, and he's the organizing secretary for the Parliamentary Press Corps, and he's an incoming MP for Wisconsin.
No, we'll stay with the media.
We stay with the media.
Yes.
Oh, but you should look at it. You should look at it.
No problem. We will support you when that time comes.
Hey, me, mom. Anyway, Ibrahim, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show. We are expecting Audu Mahama, who's just around the corner, right? Okay. Now, we have 4 issues we want to discuss if there's time. But let's start with the very latest one, which is the William Atu Asian's case, which happened yesterday. For those of you who have not been following the issue, if you joined us earlier, I tried to go through it. So I'm sure that you all know the banking sector cleanup, which led to the collapse of about 7 indigenous banks, and Capital Bank happened to be one of them. Now, it was found out that the founder of Capital Bank, William Atu Asian, used some money. I don't want to say stole. Well, and now he's been jailed for stealing. So, according to the court, stole some money which was meant for to support the bank, if I should say, to open another bank, and he was arrested. He was found guilty. He entered into a plea bargaining to pay the amount in question, which was 90 million cedis. And he was given timelines to pay that money. Unfortunately, he missed the timelines for paying the money. And as of yesterday, when he was going to jail, he had only paid 37 million out of the 90 million, meaning he's left with 53 million cedis to pay. But he's been jailed for 15 years. He didn't pay the money. The interesting part is that if he's able to pay the 15 million today, he gains his freedom. But will he be able to raise the money in jail? Well, it's a sad development. For which many people have said that Atu Asian seems to have taken the fall for other people who should have also been with him, like the likes of Mensa Otabil and the other pastor. The other pastor, I don't recall his name, but yeah. I'm going to start with you, Nana Kwesi, because you are a lawyer. What do you make of the entire, process? Do you think that he gave up too soon and probably should have just gone through the entire process?
So I feel sad for him too. First of all, I don't think that he alone could have orchestrated what happened, because it's not possible for one person to take the entire reserves of a bank and orchestrate such an architecture so that, Bank of Ghana would not notice that your reserves are not there and take the full money. And so, I don't know what to say, but I don't know how he
Are you sad that someone stole Ghanaians' money? Is that what you're sad, or you are sad that he's going to jail?
I'm sad that he's taking the fall for everybody on his own.
But he stole the money.
Well, that's what he pleaded to.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it, okay, because he pleaded to stealing.
It's unfortunate, because you see, the other thing is, this is a very industrious young man. It's not easy for a young man walking around to open a bank and run Capital Bank the way he did. I feel that, and he employed quite a number of people. The circumstances has been such that, now we're talking about stealing as if, he went to Bank of Ghana and pick up a truck and loaded some 90 million Ghana cedis into it and bolted with it. It's just been unfortunate that, an enterprising young man, maybe tried a little disingenuity and landed himself this way. What is surprising is how he ended up with a plea bargain to pay 90 million, which he didn't have. I don't know some of the things that would influence these kinds of decisions. You might have gotten advice from your lawyers, you might have gotten promises from people, but I don't know how you enter a plea bargain to pay money you don't know how you're going to raise. And in spite of grace periods given to him, he ends up this way. But these are lessons we all have to learn. I feel sad when young people trying to do business genuinely find themselves in troubles, and you can't. I mean, sometimes you have ended up in trouble because you made a loss, but you genuinely were in business. And in his case, I mean, this is a bank that was significantly supported by very prominent people. I mean, Mensa Otabil is quite a resourceful person. And for him to have gotten to this point and seem to have not gotten enough support from anybody else who was a part of, what they were trying to create is unfortunate. At this point, look, it's too late to cry for him. I'm sure that he'll be okay, but it's unfortunate. And I am talking like this because this is not a person who was appointed a minister and found himself stealing money. This is a person who was doing business and, ended up in this way. If he was successful, a lot of people would have been feeding from his industry. But now he's going to jail and he's going alone. It's quite unfortunate, but that's what it is.
Ibrahim.
Yes. So when they talk about prosecution, many will tell you that it's never been fair. And that's how come when you are standing trial for an offense, your defense cannot be that another person has committed the same offense. So once you are being prosecuted and that person has not been prosecuted, you deserve your freedom. You cannot say that.
Yeah.
The discretion equally exists. The state can decide whom it prosecutes and whom it doesn't. The AG can do that. And so, yes, I understand that Capital Bank had a board and board members. No decision can be taken to move money from a bank without the knowledge of the board members. Right. And I'm aware that some other individuals who were on the board were invited to Yoko for questioning when the bank went down. But interestingly, it's only Atuesian that was put in the dock before a judge and tried. It doesn't mean others might not be prosecuted. But as it stands now, we have no knowledge about any move to prosecute anybody else aside William Atuesian. Now, the plea bargain he entered into even raised questions from the beginning, from the word go, that Kofi Mensah, who stole the fowl in the village, doesn't get this kind of special dispensation to say that the fowl you stole, pay for it and go home and sleep.
Or I'm returning it.
Oh, I'm returning it. Or if I use it for kebab, here is the kebab. You get it. So it raised those questions, and many were wondering, this arrangement that the AG has entered into with Atuesian, how legitimate was it? Even the judge had a reason to raise concerns. And of course, subsequently, the judge had to clarify because the judge went a little too far in asserting, in a similar fashion, what we've just mentioned about Kokumenu, who might have stolen a fowl and what have you. So eventually, the AG and the state came to explain its position that he was not just paying the amount that had been deemed lost, but he was paying with interest and what have you. But I'm sure Atuesian equally thought his support system will come in handy. So get a plea agreement and then afterwards go and raise the money. The challenge, as he himself argued subsequently, was that COVID happened. And then there were other external factors, economic crisis in our country, and that made it difficult for him to raise the said amount. But he has paid over 36 million, as you mentioned, out of the 90 million. Like you said, if he's able to raise the money today, he works a free man. But when you were a free man, you could not raise this money. Now that you've been caged, it will be more difficult. But of course, let's not rule out the fact that his associates might be much more empathetic now knowing very well that a gentleman they were seated at the table with, that they took board decisions with, signed off agreements with, is taking the fall, probably for all of them. So the board members might go for a meeting and say that it's gotten to a critical level. The man is going to jail. And he's actually a pastor, and I remember watching him on TV praying that this wind that was blowing then will pass. Unfortunately, that wind has pushed him into the very small corner of a cell. Nonetheless, I've seen and heard some people gloat over this, like with excitement that the man is in trouble. No, this is nothing to be happy about. This was an entrepreneur who set out to establish a business. And we all know what Capital Bank was doing all over the place and what have you. You might have said that, yeah, maybe he didn't pay attention to good corporate governance practices. But businessmen are supposed to make mistakes. They are allowed to make some level of mistakes. In some systems, the mistakes will be corrected. The system will ensure that you correct those mistakes. If you steal, as we've been told now, then the system will punish you. But the entity you built will not go down. It will stand. And Capital Bank's case, it was given to the Ghana Commercial Bank, now GCB PLC, as they put it. It was together with UT given to Ghana Commercial Bank. But as we speak, the former employees, I remember last time I did a story from them, their gratuity has not been paid, severance packages and what have you. In fact, some of them have gone to court. So the decision to sink the bank occasioned job losses. I remember one famous individual who became, how do we call those people who grill pork at parties and what have you? He was a former employee of Capital Bank. When the bank went down, the job he could find solace in was to move to one occasion or one function or the other and be grilling pork at a fee. So his story became like a poster story for employees of all the banks that went down under the banking sector cleanup exercise. I hope and pray that lessons have been learned from both sides. As we speak, Sarah, we've sunk in 29 billion Ghana cedis in the banking sector cleanup. You sat here and did a story about customers of Gold Coast Fund Management. Yeah. Then, of course, subsequently Black Shield. Yeah. Who went to sleep at the finance ministry because they needed their locked up investment. I'm saying I just hope that on both sides, the investors, the entrepreneurs, the business community, lessons have been learned about good corporate governance practices. On the side of government, I hope lessons have equally been learned because we had to run to the IMF because of some of these decisions. You can't sink in 29 billion Ghana cedis just in the name of banking sector cleanup. Jobs have been lost nonetheless. And your economy will not go down. Your economy will go down. So hopefully, on both sides, lessons have been learned on how to approach some of these things, so we don't throw the baby away with the bathwater.
You know, you mentioned earlier how there have been conversations about, you know, the Kwekumenu somewhere in a village who was stealing plantain or something very little, who hasn't been given the opportunity to bring the money, the whatever he took back. But you know, I can understand. I've heard a lot of people make that argument as well. But you know, the Section 35 of the Courts Act that the judge quoted, this is in relation to persons who have caused some economic loss to the state. So it applies to them. But even with that, the Attorney General has to decide whether you qualify or not. So I can understand the argument, and I've heard it. I mean, it's good that you brought it up. I've seen a lot of people make that argument on social media as well. But just know that this does not amount to stealing any other thing. It is when it has got to do with, you know, causing economic loss to the state. And you admit, you know, so I think the admitting itself that he stole money is also a requirement that must be fulfilled under Section 35 of the Courts Act. So you can look at it. Audu Mahama is the managing editor of the Custodian newspaper. Audu, good morning. It's good to see you. And a belated happy birthday to your wife and her twin sister.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's been a while.
Yes, yes.
I've not seen you for almost a year now.
Oh, wow.
She went into hibernation.
Yes.
It can't be that long.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you.
But you are looking great.
God's goodness and mercy.
Yes. God is good.
All the time. when you see my enemies, tell them God is good.
They all crash.
How did you get that?
Make sure you don't.
I got it. All your enemies will crash. I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
I don't know if you follow the conversation we're having before you got here, but we're talking about Capital Bank.
Atuesian,
yes.
He's been jailed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is clear. This man, some time ago, he was speaking tongues on TV.
But he's a pastor, though. Looks like the church was really governed by pastors because there's mental to build the bank. Sorry, I said the church. The bank was governed by the top level executives were mostly.
I think he was a member of the bank, the church.
Yeah,
he was a member
ICGC.
Of the ICGC. Yeah.
Yes.
There was another pastor as well.
Yes, that would be.
Is it Calvary?
Yes.
No, is it Calvary Church?
No. Okay,
we'll get to it.
there's Frederick Odonko.
Yes,
Reverend Frederick Odonko.
What church?
I think the same.
Well, the church will not matter. It's the individuals that matter.
Yes.
Their personalities and their conduct that actually matter. It's not history. Atuesian, the man admitted stealing the money, and he agreed to pay the money. Yeah. There were terms of payment. He paid 30,000.
37 million.
No. He paid 30 initially, and the 60,000 was supposed to be paid in 3 installments.
Oh, okay.
You mean 30 million?
30 million. Oh, sorry. Charlie, the money big. 30 million and 60 million was supposed to be paid in 3 installments. Yeah. Atuesian was supposed to pay the money by, I think, 28th April or 21st April 2023. Yeah. The third was supposed to be paid by August 31st, 2023, and the last one December this year. He defaulted in first 2, and he paid only 7,000 out of the 40,000. 7 million. Oh, why am I mentioning 7,000 this morning? He paid only 7 million out of the 40 million that he was supposed to pay, and he was warned actually. Yeah. The last time he defaulted, the first one he defaulted, he was warned that failure to pay, he was going to face this. He didn't pay. The second one came, he defaulted again. He paid only 7 million. That's our money. Oh. They use money they gave him money, liquidity support. He used the money in doing other things.
To try to open another bank. And even what I'm surprised about is not just non-payment of the money, but what he used the money for. Why are we not chasing? What did he use the money for? One of the banks, I think Sovereign Bank has equally been
it's been taken. But I apparently invested some of the money outside in some real estate and so forth. And while we pursuing those properties,
but he didn't go through the trial for us to
he didn't. That is
so
he accepted.
He admitted that he had stolen the money and agreed to pay.
Well, now what I am interested is not just being in jail for 15 years. Look, we should still pursue and get the money. Even if he serves the 15 years in jail, we should still get our 53 million Ghana cedis. It cannot go waste. If you allow him to go 15 years and he comes back, he takes the 53 million. Why? And you know how the system works. The man may not spend 50 years in jail. He comes out and he's a free man. He doesn't pay our money. I am happy that Deputy AG has said that they will still pursue him to take the 53 million. That is where the thing is. Even whilst he's serving in jail, they should push him, follow anything that he has, even if it means taking his clothes, where he sleeps, look, it's a serious matter. Look, as we speak, people are dying. We have problem at Kolebu about dialysis. People are dying. and this is one person who has squandered our money like this, and the money should not. You should collect the money. Take it. If, as my brother said, if it means selling his panties to collect our money, we should pursue him.
I was only helping you with the words.
Yeah. Look, I have always said that some of these people, when you see people dress well, they well respected, they go to places, functions, and they are given priority, high table, and all that. Sometimes they loot our resources to be where they are, and we should not allow such people to go scot-free. Atuesian zone should be just a small example of what we should expect. We should not allow people, as IB was saying, banking sector claimer, a lot of money was used, and it is our money that was used to clean up the banking sector. IB was saying that jobs were lost. Yes, that's true. But people's savings, millions of savings were also protected. You understand? If the banking sector had not been done, I don't know how the economy will be by now, because apparently it is the banking sector cleanup that has strengthened our financial sector up to now. But for that, the economy would have collapsed totally. People kept on, Bank of Ghana kept on putting money in people's banks that were going under the drain. And we cannot continue to do that. I think the rest, there are others that the government has to pursue to take our money back, and it should go ahead.
Okay.
We have our full support.
Okay, Nana Kwesi, I don't know if you want to add something.
No, I mean, you see, a lot of he's talking about people's investments being protected. A lot of people too lost money. There are people who had hitherto the cleanup had savings that were almost guaranteed, and in the midst of everything, now they don't even know where to get the money from. You know, so I see. We should not get to that point in the first place. Let's be honest with ourselves. What was the regulator doing for all the mess that happened in the banking sector, for us to spend all that money cleaning it up? If we are not proactive, then this kind of thing can happen. It's not easy for this to happen anywhere in the world. It can only happen like in places like Ghana. For many years, a lot of banks run without the mandatory, support that they must have. You cannot do that anywhere else. And so I think that as a country we have to get more serious. We are too liberal, and for things as important as banks, you can't open a bank and you are supposed to have reserves, and the reserves are not there, but you're giving a license and you're operating and you're taking people's deposits. How does this happen anywhere else? And so when this kind of cleanup happens, then people lose their money. There are people who are still in court today chasing money. Park Western Jones Bank, GN Bank. Yeah. A lot of, those he went to court and challenged, the dissolution of the bank and all that. There are people who still have money with that bank and his what do you call it? That financial institution,
security or something.
Yeah, and people died because of this banking sector cleanup. People who had monies in the banks and were locked up died, and a lot of those were rescheduled to be paid later. They've still not been paid. So I think that we should get serious as a people. I mean, some of these things. Atuesian going to jail, you can say you will chase the money, you won't find it. The truth of the matter is that the money is gone. If it was there, the man himself would have paid and not go to jail. So that money, we won't find it. And we must get serious as a people. When they go and petition the governor of Bank of Ghana, he will not come and take the petition, and you. Let me
look. I don't. Where you are going, you are very.
But is the money there?
Which money?
If the money was there, like he said, if the money was there, don't you think that the man would have paid and avoided jail?
Oh,
because he admitted.
We have had people who have squandered our money. They've gone to jail. They've come back to spend the money. Look, we should not say that the money is gone. Gone where? The man lives somewhere. The man, we should look. It means that if today I'm in a position of trust, I can squander government's money. I'll go to jail for some few years and can come back to spend my money. How can we say the money is not there? What did he use the money for? He agreed to pay. He has refused to pay the money. That's why he's in jail. We should still pursue him. We cannot say the money is gone. Gone to where? Didn't he take the money? Look, banking sector cleanup. He was talking about the how do you call it? Bank of Ghana sleeping on its job. This banking sector thing was it was seen as far back as 2014, 2015 that things were not going on. There was some work done on the banking sector. You remember the famous lectures at Central University about how about 8 banks were going to collapse when then running mate of MPP talked about. All that while, I think there was no courage to clean up the sector. If we had probably done it earlier, the cost would not be this way. We sat down, pumped money into these banks, the money went into the trade, and the sector was virtually collapsing. As for banking sector collapse, just recently, in US, even in US, Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Look at the huge banks that went down. Yeah. Some were actually bought for $1 and all that.
Yeah.
Banks were bought for just $1. That is how the thing is. If there's a problem, you don't solve it early, it degenerates it into something else. And that's what happened in Ghana. What we should be looking at, never again should we get to that level. The banking sector, the Bank of Ghana should police the banking sector and make sure that the banks do not do what they want.
We're saying the same thing.
Yes. That's why they slept on their job. They did for some time. And that's why we got to where we got to.
Okay, Ivy, you want to add something quickly?
Yes, I think, of course, the problems of the banks in 2016, getting into 2017, are not lost on
anybody. 2015, not 2016.
Are not lost on anybody.
Right.
The solution that government decided to use, that option that government decided to take, there were a number of options on the table. You could deal with the individuals that you think had misconducted themselves, as we're doing to Atuation.
Right.
But allow the banks to stand and exist. The US that he mentioned, that's what happened. The state came in, acquired stake, and ensured that the banks never went down. But people were jailed. Nothing wrong with that.
The same with our system?
No, we collapsed them. In our system, we collapsed them.
Didn't we collapse it?
No.
Many jobs were lost.
The CBG, is it not merging of banks that form the CBG?
Do you know how many jobs have been lost? I'm sure you know.
You think that the US, no jobs were lost? Is that what you are saying?
You didn't think that the bank should be left to operate?
To operate as they existed, right? Deal with the people who might have...
Well, there were different ways of solving the problem.
Exactly.
So and then that is the option government took.
Exactly. And I'm saying that option has cost us 29 billion in excess. And as we speak, there are still people who are here to get their money from locked up in those institutions. It's an option government took, and I'm very sure that if government has another option to take the same decision again, we will use a different route. Trust me, we will. And that's why I'm saying that hopefully lessons have been learned on both sides. Government on one side, and then the entrepreneurs on another side, the central bank on another side as well. As we speak, the health of our banking sector is not a good one. What the DEP has done to them, it will be much more shocking than the mismanagement that you talk about prior to 2016 that resulted in the collapse of the banks. So, as a nation, I think we must draw a line in the sand and say, were the things wrong? We could have done better. Moving forward, let's do better. Simple.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about UTV and what happened over the weekend on Saturday. Now, I'm sure that you've all seen that viral video. In fact, there are quite a number of them where some members of the NPP, I think that it will not be good to say that some facts like they are unidentified. Some members of the NPP invaded the studios of UTV because they claimed that they were unhappy about how the show has been going and the paneling of the guests on the show, and the fact that A+ shredded a letter that they had written to their station, and so they want A+ to render an unqualified apology and also to be part of the show, because the show, which is supposed to be an entertainment show, had turned into a political show, and so they thought that they deserved a fair representation on the show. There being a lot of condemnations following that from the Information Ministry. In fact, that press statement has been also condemned, by the Ghana Journalists Association, the leadership of the association, as having certain statements that were totally unnecessary, which sort of tried to aid or condone what happened on Saturday, even though the Ministry of Education said that they made the report to the police to get the thugs or the sympathizers of the party arrested following the invasion. There have been condemnations from the NCCE, from the National Media Commission, and the Media Foundation for West Africa, and the rest. I'm going to start with you.
I will do
on this.
Yes, I know. They've been condemned. Look, what the MPP youth did was uncalled for. It should be condemned, and many people have condemned it. Even the party itself has condemned it. They have no business going into a program. If a program somebody starts, a TV station starts a program and say it's a showbiz and decided to turn it into a political talk show, what is your business attacking them? It is their choice. Particularly when they have turned the program into a political talk show. They are attacking vice president. They are attacking the president. The program still continues. It means that owners of the TV stations or the producers are happy with what was going on. So what is your beef? What is your problem? Look, we have so many. How many television stations do we have in this country, especially in Accra? So many. When I tune into a TV station and they are showing something, I think that this one will give me headache. The program will give me headache or BP. I switch. I move to another station. I don't worry myself with trivialities and things that will bother my head. I'll have a lot to think about. A lot of things may increase your blood pressure, so you don't encourage them. So if I'm watching a TV program or a radio and listening to a radio program and they are doing things that I think that are not in line with what my thoughts and all that, I switch. There are many TV stations, there are many radio stations, so they have no business attacking the TV station. The owners are happy with what was going on. We have panelists. Why will you go and force that you want to be part of the show? Why? Do they impanel the people? The MPPU, do they impanel the people on the show? They have no business going there. What you need to do is, you are watching the program, you think that they are insulting people all the time. What do? Don't watch. That's the only option. The people, owners, are happy with what is going on there, and they are happy. They think they go there to come to insult people. I have personally been on radio programs, and there was a time I was on a radio program. My co-panelist mentioned a particular senior minister and said he's a thief. Just like without providing anything. He's a thief. He mentioned the name. He's a thief. And I told the host, look, we are on air and this guy is mentioning this particular minister, saying that he's a thief. He has not provided any evidence. And you are listening. You are not cautioning him. And I distanced myself. I disassociated myself from the comment and all that. But the host kept on. He allowed him to go. And the thing persisted. I attended the program for so I saw that things were not changing. I decided to stop going on that program. For about 2 years now, I've not been there. That is what you should do. Don't bother yourself with what people say on radio. Look, but what we need also to do is also to tell the hosts of our programs. It is, people think that insulting people is what will give you viewership or listenership. That's what people think. That's why, and Ghanaians is a culture. That's why people are encouraged to do what they are doing. If we were to switch off, to move away from those stations, those who behave in the manner that they behave, if we were to move away from them, they will sit up. They will not be bringing people to insult people. I cannot, for God's sake, come on this TV show and see a big person. Let's say I don't belong to a political party. I look at the leader of that party and I start insulting him. Look, everybody knows I have I don't hide my political sympathies and ideologies. Everybody knows. You say, well, you know where I belong politically. Even though I'm a journalist.
I don't.
He's MPP.
I am MPP.
I'm just pulling his leg.
Sympathizer.
He's an MPP member.
I am a card-bearing member, even though I'm a journalist. It's allowed. It's allowed. Look, I cannot, for God's sake, come on this event and say that and mention former President Mama says start insulting him. Look, even though I disagree with him politically, I'll be proud to have him as my brother. Because he's been former president before. No matter how disagree, no matter how you feel that he has not handled things well when he was in office and all that. Look, you cannot come and attack him. You may not even be able to be a deputy minister in your whole life. Somebody has been president, somebody has been vice president. You go on TV, insult the person, and the host do not even care about what goes on. And you, the youth, you want to go and do what? You think that by attacking the radio station will stop them from doing what they do. Let them go ahead. I see people who actually attack big men or people in positions of trust. I see them to have short lives. If you are well trained, you don't go out insulting people who are even older than you, no matter.
But if the people who are older than you are misbehaving,
so you insult?
I mean, I'm not justifying, I'm asking you, but do they insult the people or they criticize
it them? Is, look,
because I think that I haven't seen.
I think that sometimes it's if you say somebody is a thief without providing any evidence of that, what is it? And you say, well, if somebody comes for your show, I know you. You've been fighting people here for comments that they make. If somebody comes here and mentions another person who's
I won't allow you to call someone.
Exactly, that is my so somebody comes here and mentions somebody, the person is a thief. Will you allow that? Say, well, will you allow that?
No.
So if another show, the person says there and somebody saying, oh,
I haven't seen any video.
How about they say
Hold on.
He has admitted stealing. That's what
besides, I knew he was going to say that.
Oh, yes,
I haven't seen. Let me just say that I haven't seen the video that, you know, because A+ himself, when we interviewed him, said he has never insulted the president. He hasn't insulted the vice president, and he hasn't insulted the party secretary because he was even on the conversation
I'm even surprised that they are mentioning A+. There's another panelist called Bulldog.
But they went there specifically. Looks like they went there specifically for A+.
I think that the MPP's beef, the youth, I will not even dignify what they went and did. But I think their beef is that A+ claims to be a member of MPP. Mm-hmm. And he goes there, he supports one person within the party. And you know there's a contest going on. MPP will be having presidential primaries. And he goes there to attack. They think that if you say you are a member of this party, you cannot go on attacking the same party that you claim to belong. That is their beef.
I think that A+ says he likes Nanado. Not that has he said he's a member of the NPP or he likes Nanado?
No, so he campaigned for Nanado. He identifies with the NPP. As we speak,
he's going independent.
He's supporting Kennedy Japan to win the NPP flag bearership race. But he's going independent to come to parliament.
That is why, look, I don't like pretension. So I don't like people who pretend. If you pretend, you cannot be my friend.
So who is pretending here? Who is the pretender?
I am not saying that. Look, I am saying it is a generic thing. Okay. I am saying I don't like people who pretend. If you are a pretentious person, I cannot deal with you. I don't pretend in my life. If I don't like you, I don't like you. But it doesn't mean I should go and be insulting you. I don't pretend. What I'm saying is, everybody has condemned what the youth of MPP have done. Everybody, including the party. In fact, the party leadership of the party met Despite Media, management of Despite Media, and they seem to have sorted out the issues. Now, when the education minister issued a statement condemning what happened, GJ also issued another statement attacking the information minister. I didn't even understand. Why?
You don't understand why?
Why they attacked the minister.
I'll read the minister's statement to you.
And then read what the GJ issued. If you have time to read all that, I will tell you why GJ was wrong. I will tell you. You read both letters.
Okay, but you go on.
So I am saying that
it.
GHA, the minister actually condemned what happened in the statement. It actually said they alerted the police and the police arrested. And they were saying that they were cautioning hosts of programs and all that, cautioning media houses, journalists to be responsible in whatever they do. So, media freedom comes with responsibility. We have a whole chapter in Constitution, chapter 12, that gives us liberty, freedom. Constitution gives us freedom to operate. But it comes with responsibility. Freedom doesn't mean that you should do whatever you like. Everything is specified in the Constitution, so that if you are given the freedom to operate, you should also be responsible. That's what the minister was talking about. And now GJ comes to attack the minister in their statement, and they also call for the same responsibility from the media. They also call for the same responsibility from the media. So what is the difference? Why were they attacking the minister?
Okay. Well, so here's the ministry's press statement.
Okay.
The Ministry of Information made a report to the Ghana Police Service to intervene in an incident at the UTV studios, a private TV station in Accra. This followed reports to the Media Monitoring Center of the ministry that a group of persons had entered UTV studios allegedly without authorization to express displeasure at the content of a live TV program. The police subsequently arrested 16 persons at the premises of UTV, and investigations are currently ongoing. The ministry condemns in no uncertain terms any unauthorized entry into media organizations in protest at media content or interference with media work. The right to free expression and the freedom of the media are key pillars of our democracy and must be fiercely protected. The ministry wishes to encourage the media, especially broadcast media show hosts and panelists, to do their utmost to help promote national cohesion, even as they exercise their fundamental freedoms.
So what is wrong with this statement?
You don't find the last paragraph problematic?
Read it again.
The ministry wishes to encourage the media, especially broadcast media show hosts and panelists, to do their utmost to help promote national cohesion, even as they exercise their fundamental freedoms.
So call for national cohesion, unity and all that is your problem?
No, once you link it, it means that that is missing from the show in question. You get it?
Which show?
Okay, so there is an attack on a show.
Yes.
And you are releasing statement to condemn the attack.
Yes.
And then in ending the statement, you indicate things that hosts and panelists should be doing.
Yes.
Anybody reading will link it to the fact that you are saying these ingredients are absent from the show that has just been attacked. And that's why it was attacked. You get the point.
You see, that cannot be justified. That cannot be your justification. I totally disagree.
I'm telling you.
It's a generic thing. That statement, look, it's English language. It is generic. It's not referring to. It's encouraging all hosts, not just that TV station program. It is. It is a generic statement that hosts should be responsible. Calling for responsibility reads what GJ had issued.
It's a lot. So I'm just
look
trying
at
to
where they are calling for responsibility.
That's what I'm looking for. So you go ahead. I mean, but you're done. Let's say
I am done. Look, we should not. This is look. The minister has condemned it. He is cautioning all of us to be fair in whatever we say. Why are you looking at me? But
do you let me ask you this quickly before I come to. Do you find the fact that, because one of the reasons that the young men gave was that A+ shredded their letter and they find that disrespectful because it is their property. Do you agree? Do you find that act disrespectful in any way?
Look, I am not those young guys. I am saying that how the letter got to A+, I don't know.
He said he printed the letter himself.
From where?
Well, he didn't. He said he received a PDF copy of the letter.
From who?
Printed it from.
So MPP wrote the letter to him, or he got it on social media. Maybe he got it on social media. I don't know. So shredding the letter. Me, as I said, I am not bothered whether the letter is shredded or not. I am not bothered. I will not watch a program that will give me heartbreaks. I will not watch a show that will give me headache. I will not. So I totally condemn what they did. Look, if you feel that you cannot watch a program that will give you a headache, just switch off. Look, Sewa, you have programs that I watch. GH1 have programs that I watch. If the program ends and I think that the next program I'm not interested, I'll move to another show, another program. That's what you should do. If they are hosting their political, as I said, they are showbiz and they turn it into political, why? Is it wrong for the station to turn it into a political show? If they are misbehaving in court, if they are doing something that you are not happy, you think they are attacking your leaders, why? Switch off. Either you will sit down and watch and endure the pain without doing anything, or you switch off. That's all. As for condemnation, look, nobody should justify why the people, the youth, MPP youth went and did. I cannot imagine that a TV station, if you get, I am a journalist. If I'm in my office and maybe I probably do a story that you are not happy, you have options. You either send me to a media commission, you write a rejoinder to me, or you go to court. These are options available to you. If you come to my office to attack me, I will not be happy. And that is why I will not justify what they have done. It's totally unnecessary.
Okay, we have seen the statement from the NPP and Stephen Intim, the chairman of the party. We've seen a video of him subsequently going to UTV to apologize to them.
Yes.
But A+ said that he has intelligence. In fact, he has reliable information that
I don't want to personalize this A+
we are not
thing.
personalizing it. I'm bringing. Hold on.
With people.
Hold on.
So I don't want personalities to be mentioned.
I will do. Thank you. I'm bringing this up because the party said that they didn't sanction the act. A+ says that Owusu Bempah, who is the deputy communications director of the party, sanctioned the act. Well, he has subsequently said that he didn't do it. And we are hoping that we get him for an interview.
We are getting there. We are going to go into Frimpong Boateng's matter. And you are doing what...
You don't decide what I ask you. You are behaving like... You can't tell me the questions to ask. I will do. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So if you don't want to answer, you tell me, then I move on to the next guest with my question.
Ask your question. So I miss you. I miss you on the show.
My goodness. I can't believe this. In fact, Ibrahim, let me come to you.
Start from that angle. You were asking
I will not.
A+, I don't want to have anything to do with what A+ says. He's also making an allegation. Do you believe what he's saying? Do you believe A+? You think that his allegation is making is true? Do you believe him? That somebody like Owusu Bempah sent those people? You believe him? When the party said they have not sent anybody, you think Owusu Bempah is he not part of the party? Is he not?
That's why I'm asking that if
I am saying that it's an allegation that A+, I am not ready to venture into realms of allegations. I am not.
Okay, so I have an answer for him. Owusu Bempah says he's going to court. In fact, he's asked A+ to apologize,
which he refused.
So Owusu Bempah should just go to court, and we'll find the answers from the court. So for that's the answer. Now back to the substantive matter. I think we should rather be more worried about what inspired and empowered the young people to do what they did, right? Because I'm very sure that they moved from their various houses, they converged at the point, and then ferried themselves to the station. In the chain that I've just mentioned, they had every reason to reflect on what they are going to do and say no. First of all, we are giving the party a very terrible name with this action. Second, we have a country in crisis, right? And government is doing all it can to get a lid on this crisis. The last thing we want to do is to compound the communication challenge for this government. They had every reason to reflect and say, no, let's not do what we're doing. But they still went ahead. And to me, that mark of impunity is what we must work towards stamping out. We must never get to a point where people feel, I know what I'm going to do will bring a backlash. I know, I'm very sure they knew the party hierarchy will not be in support of this. Yes, still, they did. And that's up to the party to work on. Because if the party doesn't stamp this out, it will happen again. And guess what? The chairman They have elections coming up November 4. Chairman in team had to go there. In fact, he was like the third executive who has gone to the station to apologize. Over what? Do you know, sir, the letter never got to the UTV management?
That's what they say.
The letter never got to UTV management. Somebody signed a letter and circulated it on social media. And that's why we are here talking about this.
UTV management
Never
Yeah, they
got
said
the
they never got the
letter.
letter.
I see.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge. And that's why when the party says this was not sanctioned, the letter itself was not sanctioned, you have to agree. But somebody signed the letter. There's a name there, there's a signature. So what then happens to that person? The party must address this. The young people, I want to find out from the police where they are. We told they've been given bail, right? We've been in this country, we realize that many people are arrested. Sometimes you get your bail from the court. If you are lucky enough to get your bail from the police, in less than a week, you are before a court, right? So let's find out. The complaint was lodged by management of UTV and the information ministry, per the statement you read from it. And kudos to the information ministry, and specifically to the information minister. This mark of proactiveness must be encouraged. It's good. But how far was the case? Are we prosecuting or not? The nation deserves an update. See, I'm not saying that prosecute them by all means. No, I'm just saying that, yes, the police issued a statement informing us about the arrest. The information ministry told us about its involvement. Kudos. Even the bail, I had to dig to find out that they've been granted bail. The police never informed us that the individuals have been granted bail. So moving forward, are we cautioning them and saying they should go and sin no more?
No, but that's a very important point, because for something like this, when the police granted them bail,
statement that they have granted them.
Oh, I can pull millions of statements from the police telling us about bails being granted to individuals. Is that what you want? No, but that's what it is. They've been granted
have
bail.
you not seen such a statement before? Have you not? Audu.
It depends.
You have been a journalist for how many years?
Every case and
a case like
treated.
this, which has a lot of public interest, you don't think that when they were granted bail, we should have known? Why then did they feel to tell us? Why did they feel they need to tell us they had arrested them? Because the information ministry had already told us.
We should know.
Yes.
I've not disagreed.
Yes. Okay. So, like I said, we're not baying for anybody's blood. No. If we are pardoning them and cautioning them and asking them to go and sin no more, no problem. We just all deserve to know. So people lower the expectation, because read all the statements of condemnation. Everybody is saying, let's see this through. Let's prosecute them. Let's make them a lesson to virtually everybody. If we get an update that, see, these young people went overboard. They did what ought not to happen. Because these are the reasons why the Press Freedom Index, we keep falling. These are some of the reasons. And the argument about the security, the studio, and what have you, to me, is a non-starter. Because regardless of how fortified the security is, a group of people thought it's the right thing to do to go and accost producers, hosts, and whoever has anything to do with the program. See, I don't have an issue with a party having a concern that a particular show is doing damage to its reputation and its political fortune. I don't. I'm a student of politics, and I know that when something is...
You are probably a politician too.
No, I'm not.
Don't be distracted.
When I become one, you'll be the first to know. You see, the issue is this. If a political party feels that, so for instance, the discussion we're having here is unfavorably tailored against it, it has every right to raise an issue, but how it does that is where I want to offer the advice. See, all the party needed to do was not to write a letter. Get closer to the powers that be at the station or at the show. Make your concerns known to them.
The letter is in dispute, so you can't blame the party.
Make the concerns.
They are not aware of the letter.
Oh, but someone signed it. The one who signed it is an officer of the party.
Yeah, he actually is.
And you're saying that for a letter like that, it could be signed. The young man who signed the letter sat down, wrote the letter on his own without any approval from any other person from the party and decided to circulate it? Is that how it works? You're a member of the party.
Me.
Are you not? You just said a few minutes ago that you're a member
So
of the party.
I know what happens at the party head office.
And I'm
I am
asking,
not a member
someone
of the
signed the
management.
letter.
Even the management of, even the executives of the parties that they have not sanctioned
Did
it.
you
And you
expect-
want me to sit here and say
I
they have sanctioned it?
have you, well, I was going
You
to
want
ask,
me
have
to
you
sit
received
here
a
and say
tip
they have
are
sanctioned it
people?
when they have said they have not sanctioned the thing?
I didn't
Are you fair
expect-
to me, Sewa?
No, they said they had not sanctioned the invasion of the.
No, the letter.
Oh,
you
no.
just
For the
said
le-
they said
no,
they have
For the
not.
letter, I haven't heard anything
for the
like
letter,
that from
okay,
that.
for the letter.
If I know the person who signed the letter, in fact, director of financial administration.
Could he
that's
have
his-
done it on his own?
I don't know.
That's the point.
I don't.
So the point I'm making is that
Because I am not part of the leadership
This
of
free
NPP.
advice. This free advice. I will do my own fair rate. See, I'm a producer. I produce this show. I produce Morning Star. We've been rich by political parties, one way or the
Many
other.
times.
Many
Complaining
times.
about me.
And we have our own
Both parties
ways.
do.
Oh yes,
I know.
we have our
Yeah.
own ways of addressing this. And if for anything at all, nobody will sit anywhere, and nobody can sit anywhere and say GHToday is biased one way or the other. No. For that, I can put my hand in fire. But that's how you do it. You Jojo. You approach, you listen. What you can do to help satisfy them in a way, you do. What you outrightly say no, you say no to. But I've not received a letter from anybody because that's not how it's done. You Jojo, it can just be a phone call away. And trust me, you can get more done with that than going the formal way of sitting down behind a computer, typing the letter, signing it, and then circulating it on social media. So, by way of free consultation, moving forward, I think backroom conversations for the party will be more helpful than becoming frontal and writing letters.
You're right.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, that's it.
Nana Kwesi.
You see, I've been sitting quietly because this is a no-no. I mean, I was imagining we sitting here and, a dozen of youth bumping through that door because of something we're saying. And you imagine the trauma.
Yeah.
Press freedom must be protected. And this condemnation of what happened must come with no caveat. And maybe that's why the GJ felt the need to respond to the minister's letter.
But GJ's letter also came with caveat. And that's what I wanted you to
You have
read
spoken
further.
today plenty, I've been sitting quiet.
GJ, their letter also
see,
came with caveat.
The condemnation must be
I'm a
so
member of GJ, though.
must be so certain and unconditional that I do not see how, in condemning this act, we would now start reprimanding hosts of shows and cautioning them to be cautious. It will be, yes, by all means, we must do that on another day. But what happened must not happen. And you see, it is even scarier if it was just a set of youth from nowhere. If they are political party group reacting in this manner, it's dangerous. Why? Because tomorrow, imagine NDC youth also trying to attack a TV station. You imagine that, how many times hasn't the NDC boycotted shows?
Dagbon FM.
They have boycotted Joy FM before. At some point, they boycotted Newsfire. But you do not envisage a situation where they would put themselves together and say, let's go to the studio. So the MPP must not only condemn it, I think they must sanction these youth. If these are people they know in the party, they must bring them to order. Just apologizing and they must hold them to account. And by all means, I am of the view that if the police has hold of people, they must let them know this is not how it's done. They must let them know this is not how it's done. They must face the full consequences. And you see, we must not have a situation where the people are brought to court or even before that, then some party bigwigs would intervene. When people do these kinds of things, they must know there is consequence. This is the only way you deter other people from doing it. And by the way, yesterday I saw also a video on social media where some NDC youth are now saying we are demanding this. If it becomes MPP youth, NDC youth on this matter, I am scared. And this is the concern, because you don't want that to be the case. The powers that be must stamp it out completely, so that any group of people must not feel that they will be justified in also mounting any form of protest on this. If the matter is not effectively dealt with, then people will feel